let's talk about my finished objects, embrace a little bit of a big pile of works in progress, and talk about my new yarn and some exciting gifts that I recently received. Hi there, my name is Alona, this is my knitting channel, and I am a knitter, content creator, engineering manager in one of the IT companies in Poland, and today I have something to share. And I have a confession. I have a lot of whips this time, not a lot of progress on those whips that you've seen previous time, but we have some other whips, and we have one finished object that you've never seen. So without any big introductions, let's dive in. So the first, my finished object, you've never seen. This is a beautiful Mamba neck, designed by Woolen Knitwear. This was a test knit. Oh, sorry, I showed you the wrong side, the back panel. This was a test knit for Woolen Knitwear. This is the front. This is kinda her signature kind of stitch pattern from the Mamba series. She has a dress, sweater, and she decided to create a neck. Over here, only the pattern I received for testing. My yarn for test knit wasn't delivered. No one knows what happened, but this is life. Sometimes this may happen. And I used yarn from my stash. This is the yarn that I bought in Oslo. This is Sandnes Garn Double Sunday in the colors that will be added over here, because colors numbers can be a little bit too harsh for me. And why you haven't seen this as work in progress? Because I have several big whips and I needed something, kind of like dopamine cast on that can be finished pretty fast. And this is what can be done in 2 or 3 days, I think. Let's talk about the construction. You start from casting on the back yoke. I think that's okay to call it back yoke. You cast on back yoke. Over here. You cast on back yoke over here, and you knit from the top to down. With the stitch pattern, there is no increases for the back, you just need a simple panel. Then you pick up stitches for your shoulders over here, and you need one shoulder forming a little bit of a neckline. You do the same for another shoulder, at the same time knitting the same stitch pattern. Then you join under your neckline and you start knitting exactly the same as for the back. After that, you're just knitting in the pattern without any increases, decreases, nothing like that. After finishing, you put your stitches on hold over here, and the same you do for the back part. You put your stitches on hold, then you pick up stitches around both sides, and you knit an I-cord. I hope I can show you closer. There is an I-cord that kind of goes around the whole neck, just to add it a little bit of kind of form, shape, something like that. And then you pick up stitches for your neck and knit neck part in 1x1 rib. I was playing a little bit of a yarn chicken game over here because Maria suggested 4 balls of the yarn, so around 400 meters, and I had only 3 balls. I decided to try because it looked like I can do it, and I have left with only, I think, 3 grams of the yarn, so my neck is a little bit shorter than the pattern suggests, but it seems not bad. The only thing that I didn't like in this pattern is that it seems like a little bit too much of a neck for me. I would cinch it a little bit to have it a little bit tighter, but this is just my preference, and this is just my preference when I wear it with a bare neck, like if there is nothing on my neck, like no neck of the sweater, I would be happier to have a little bit more cinched neck. But when I wear it with a sweater with a neck, it seems like okay. So I don't know if it's mine problem or problem of the pattern, but if you want to knit this one and wear it without anything over here, probably you need to pick up a little less stitches than the pattern suggests, and it's easy to do because this is 1 by 1 rib, so it easily can be adjusted. Would I recommend you knitting this? Yes, yes, and one more time, yes, because it is quick to knit. I've used 3.75 needles for the main part and 3.5 for the neckline. I would say that you need 350 grams to for sure finish it of DK weight yarn. So if you have something like some leftovers, or maybe you can knit, you know, like front and back in one color, neckline in another, for example, and the I-cord in something else. Or you can knit front part in one color, the same use for your neckline, and knit a back part with a little bit different color because no one will see it. It's on the back, right? Maybe that's a good starch busting scene. And probably I'm thinking about knitting second one, but I will need your help somewhere closer to the end. So don't forget to watch to the end of the video. And that's all about my finished objects. Let's go to my pile of whips. And let me know in the comments below, please, do you have also this kind of like a problem and urge to have tons of whips right now? Because I feel that I'm struggling. For me, that's a little bit too much of whips, but I don't know. I wasn't happy with anything that I was knitting, so I needed something additional. And probably you will ask, so I will mention right now what I'm wearing. I'm wearing currently my gorgeous sweater by Colibri by Johanna, which I've knitted as a cardigan. It is a wrap cardigan right now. And as you can see, I don't know if you can... I hope you've seen it. I just tied it on my back. And if you're curious, you can go to my video with rating of all my cardigans and check this cardigan over there because I'm telling more about it. So what I can take as my first whip to share? Let's go to my poppy tee. This is poppy tee as a sweater knitted in Cardiff cashmere, and it finally has 2 sleeves and the collar. I decided to go with 2 by 2 rib for the neckline and 1 by 1 rib for the cuffs, and the same 1 by 1 rib will be for the hem of this sweater. I know that's kind of not very popular solution, but I saw several sweaters by Moroccanit in this way, and for me, neckline in 2 by 2 rib looks a little bit more, I don't know, more polished maybe. So that's what I have. Shortly and briefly about this pattern, because I've talked about it quite a lot. It seems like English tapered over here because you have this line of increases, but then you need kind of like a contiguous shoulder over here as a raglan. Kind of like as a raglan, but you're increasing only for the sleeves, so you kind of shaping this contiguous sleeve. So it looks, you know, like really intricate, and I think that it will fit a lot of shoulders, because I know that not a lot of people prefer reglans, for example, because they can kind of cut you in a little bit strange part, plus round yokes may sit a little bit strange as well, or not so comfortable for some of people, and probably this is one of the most tapered shoulder constructions that may look good on you. So what's left? We need to tackle a little bit of the body. I hope that my sun isn't too stretched right now because it's kind of almost 4 p.m. and I need to quickly record this video before the sun will leave us, because sun in Warsaw is extremely unusual during the winter. So I have 10-ish centimeters of the body and I just need to finish it. I have a big plan of recording a Q&A video, like knit and chat. So if you have any questions for me, just put them on the comments below and I will answer them on that video. And I have a plan to knit this sweater during that video, because this is just knitting and the round without any rib, nothing. So I will do it there. And we will see how much I can knit while talking to you about different scenes and while answering all your questions. I want to share with you the colors that I've used, and I will switch to another yarn and another project. So I'm using Cardiff Cashmere in color 519. You can see, yeah, like this. And this is just a Cardiff Cashmere Classic. It haven't peeled while I'm knitting, so I hope it won't be too peely, but we'll see. And I hope it should stretch. I heard that it can stretch quite a lot during washing and blocking, so I decided to go with slightly shorter sleeves than I usually do. And I don't want to have, you know, like too long cuff, because this is cashmere and don't want to have anything over here. I want to have maybe a bracelet length sleeve. We'll see how it will go, but hopefully I will soon finish it. The next, and as well a bright one, sweater that I want to share with you. Let me put it into a way that it will be beautiful to show you. This is my Chantal chunky sweater, and it looks probably a little bit strange with my green cardigan and red sweater, so I'm trying to show it to you without getting into the frame. And last time you've seen finished yoke, and I told you that I will switch to the neckline. And you know what happened? I just took the sweater, started knitting a little bit of a body, and I couldn't stop. So I just knitted the whole ball of yarn during the time I was at my friends. Like, I was visiting my friends, we were playing some games, and I just knitted the whole ball of this beautiful yarn. So I decided to continue, and we have almost the whole body. But right now, as you can see, I put it on hold because I'm slightly playing a yarn chicken game. Maybe I'm just thinking that I'm playing it. But I have only 4 balls and a little bit like this. This will be for the neckline, because I have, I think, almost half of the neckline knitted right now. So I will finish the neckline, then I will knit sleeves. I've never knitted any Marcus knits patterns yet. I forgot to mention, this is Chantal Sweater Chunky by Morkanit, and we have Chantal Cal on Instagram, so if you're interested, you can also join. And I don't know about sling lengths in Marcus knits patterns, so I need to knit the sleeve and see how much yarn I will use, because I'm a tall girl and from time to time I need to lengthen the sleeves quite a lot. So we'll have to see how it will be for this pattern. This is a slip stitch drop shoulder sweater. I think that this is the easiest construction of Chantal collection at all. So if you're looking for something beautiful from that collection, highly recommend this sweater. It has beautiful neck shaping, 2x2 neckline. This is a long, you know, like folded neckline. The sleeves will be as well in the same beautiful slip stitch pattern, and the finishing of the cuffs and hem 1x1 rib. I'm using over here, where are you? I'm using this beautiful Lamana Como Grande yarn in color 33. My battery just died, and I hope that I'm sitting somewhere at the same place than I was before. So the yarn that I'm using is this beautiful Lamana Como Grande, and this is such a joy to knit, you know? It's so plushy. I can't say that it's fluffy, but it's kind of plushy yarn. It works so nicely when you use it with metal needles. I don't know what about wooden needles, but I'm using a metal one, and it glides so nicely. You know, like, there's no problems with slip stitching, with slip stitches. I even had some yarn surgery, and it wasn't too bad. And I have slightly steam blocked it, so right now it's almost impossible to see where I had that yarn surgery. So let's hope that I will have enough yarn. I won't promise that till the next time when we'll see each other I will have this sweater finished, but I'm trying, and at the same time I'm not rushing with this sweater because I really enjoy knitting it. And this yarn, that's probably one of my favorite yarns right now, and I just enjoy so much knitting this project with that slip stitch, with this yarn. That's absolutely amazing project, and this yarn was kindly gifted to me by Lamana for my knit along. They kindly supported it, so kind of like ad, but I finally found where to buy this brand in Poland, so I can buy myself more, despite the fact that I have a whole stash. But we need a little bit of a yarn, right? If you watched my previous podcast episode, you remember that I showed you Alex's scarf, who just told you that it is sitting right now somewhere on ice, and that I don't know what to do with it. So currently that project on pause, but I still wanted to knit myself a hood, so let me introduce. This is Sophie hood. I'm using Nakyang I'm wool 4. This is a soft merino wool. The color will be over here because I don't have a yarn label with me. And this is what we have right now. I am knitting the longest size of Sophie hood. That's why right now it looks like, part of Sophie's scarf, but it will have long ties, and I think that I'm sure that soon it will get wider and wider. Why I decided to switch from Alex's hood to this one, because Alex's hood is knitted in 2x2 rib, and it seems like right now I'm not ready, I don't know, something isn't working with that 2x2 rib. Maybe the fact that I'm knitting it with wooden needles, maybe the fact that I need to frog a little bit, maybe the black color, I don't know, but something isn't working, so I decided not to not to push, and if I'm not ready to do it right now, let it sit a little bit, and let's knit something easier to do. And this is a hood that seems like a Sophie scarf, and the difference with Sophie shawl and Sophie hood in hood shaping. So I bought myself a Sophie hood pattern, and I'm currently knitting it. I think that I have around half of first edge, and you're knitting this as Sophie scarf or Sophie hood, starting from the I-cord. Then you need I-cords over here and garter stitch. And what's quite a big plus of this scarf, hood, shawl, and so on of this Sophie family is that you're knitting I-cord right away when you knit everything, so you don't need to go back and pick up anything when you finish the whole items ready. And it prevents this garter stitch from overstretching, because I-cord helps to keep it, in one shape. It feels kind of soft. I don't feel that I will have a lot of problems, and what I love about this, what I like about this yarn, the fact that this is 100 ball, so this is around, I think, Aran weight yarn, right? This is 175 meters per 100 grams, so it's a little bit thicker even than Purgund, but it's softer, much softer, and you have 100 grams ball, so you will have less ends to weave in. I think that's a nice one, and this is quite important one for us. And I'm using 5mm Chaugo needles, and this is my Valentine's present, but I will share a little bit closer to the end about this. And I think that's it about this Sophie hood. I think that I'm a little bit more inspired about it than I was about my Alex hood. So let's see how the things will go. But right now I do enjoy knitting it when I need to take a pause within, from other stuff, and I just want to do something not too big and not too engaging. Plus I can take it with me to work, for example. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe if I will have such desire, I can take it. And the last my work in progress will be once again a test. This is something beautiful and something that I'm knitting for the first time. This is Shrug by Emma Knits. let me check the name, not to mispronounce it, because I can do it. So this is Lunaria Shrug by Emma Knits. She has two options of knitting this shrug, like she has two yarn options to knit this shrug. One of them is 2 strands of silk mohair, and another one is just, I think, sport weight yarn. Ta-da! It is, oh no, this is the front side. Ta-da! I love this color. It looks amazing. This shrug has contiguous shoulder construction. You start from knitting with short rows, forming your, like this, raising your back. Then after that you start increasing a little bit for your like front and back, and then you start shaping your sleeves, as you can see. And after shaping the sleeves and knitting your yoke, you will have slight, 2 strands of silk mohair and metal hanger isn't the best idea. So at the very end you will have a little bit of, not that side. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit awkward today. No, it's not visible. So after shaping your sleeve cup, we are switching to a little bit of increases for the body, like for the armhole. For my size, it wasn't a lot of increases, just a couple of them, but the pattern will guide you how to do increases. There is even a table that shows you which increases to add where, because you will have to add at the same time increases for the body part and for the sleeves at the very end when you form the armholes, so don't worry. And then you just need several rounds and bind off. I have tried Icelandic bind off for the first time, to be honest, with this one. I had to Google even how to do it, but it looks neat. I don't know if it will start curling. maybe, but we will see how this seam will go. And this is the whole body, kinda, that's it. It will be somewhere in the middle or a little bit lower than the middle of my bust. And then I will go to knit both of the sleeves. And the sleeves will have a beautiful cinched detail over here and slightly balloony cuff at the end. Not balloony. It will be kind of like a... I will just put a photo, but Emma's version knitted in woolen silk and not silk mohair, so mine will look a little bit different. And I really like the colors that I choose, of course. I chose this color, but I also think that it will look so nicely with a lot of my dresses and other items, despite the fact that it's so bright, because it will be kind of like an accent color, and it's not too big. Like, with the fact that it's just a shrug, you won't have a lot of this bright color, so it will be a tiny bit of color, like small accent. And I think that I will show you some styling ideas as soon as I finish it. Probably this is one of the most projects that I'm currently into, but we will see what will happen after. The yarn that I'm using was kindly gifted by Lamana yarn for the testing. This is their Lamana Premia, and this is their soft silk mohair. Yes, I'm in love currently with Lamana yarns. I just can't describe why, but I like the yarn. So this mohair has 300 meters per 25 grams, and this is 60% mohair and 40% silk. This is super kid mohair, and this is a little bit thinner mohair than you used to have. For example, this is as you can see, it has kind of a smaller gauge than you used to, because just now I showed you 2 strands of this premium mohair, and this is cardigan knitted with 2 strands of knitting foil mohair. So there I used 5mm needles, and over here I'm using 3.5mm needles, because if you need this mohair, even 2 strands on 5mm needles, you will have much more transparent fabric. So this is, and you can see, this is a little bit, I cannot say that this one is less fluffier. I think that this over here, the silk cord is thicker. That's the reason why we have slightly less fluff, maybe. But I still think that it looks cute. And what I wanted to mention as well, as you can see, on camera it looks like this mohair shines a lot, but for me it looks like, you know, not fully covered with color silk cord. I don't know, it has some light bits and some dyed, so this seems like not this. I don't know about all colors, but for sure this is, this 31 color won't give you the even color of mohair if you're trying to knit with it, because it has some difference of the color within silk mohair, within mohair and silk content. So if you're looking for something in this color, but with kind of like, you know, this mohair doesn't have such problem. This is just solid color. This will give you not a solid color. It looks like it shines, but if you take a closer look, you can see that you can see those undyed parts of silk mohair. So it's important thing to mention. And now I have a little bit of acquisitions that I want to share with you, but it's not the yarn. I got a Chantal set of interchangeable needles. I got a set from my husband. He gave me kind of like a present for Valentine's Day, and I got a set from 2.75mm needles to 5mm needles, because this is the most popular needles that I'm using mostly. And kind of like second part of this set is empty, but it's not fully empty. And this needle cover quite big and there are a lot of spaces. I decided just to move all my metal interchangeable needles into one place. As you can see, there are my Chantal needles and my Knit Pro needles. And over here, a little bit of Knit Pro needles as well. I think it's convenient to put them all into one place. In the middle, I put, like, inside this cover, I put this bag from Knit Pro as well. And you can close it. And there is additional pocket where I put all accessories from this set. There I have several cords for interchangeable needles, and currently I'm knitting Sophie's scarf on that needle. Finally, I got this set. I wasn't sure that I need it, but I don't know. For me, it feels like I can knit much faster on these needles. And plus, it seems like from time to time I have a lot of projects, for example, on 4.5mm needles, so I need to have several pair of those needles, like the most popular ones. So thank you, dear, for such a kind present, and I'm so happy. Maybe I will sell my Knit Pro, we'll see, but this is definitely such a joy. And the last thing that I want to share with you is this beautiful Nordic yarn. This is their merino cashmere yarn. This is 50% Ego cashmere and 50% merino. They sent me their yarn to try. This is, I would say, kind of a new brand, and maybe we will have some kind of a collaboration with them, and maybe I will in future have some affiliate link, but I don't know yet. Let's hope that it will happen, because I will be really happy to support a beautiful ethical yarn brand. This yarn looks like okay, probably, yeah, like this. We have a theme, you know. This is a beautiful color, I think wine. And the question for you, I have this question on my Instagram, maybe you can go there and answer on it, or you can just let me know in the comments. what should I knit with it? I have enough yarn to knit myself a second mamba neck in this color, right? Or I can knit myself Oslo hat. Maybe I can try to squeeze this and hipster hat. I will have to swatch, but cannot decide what to do. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. And please subscribe, because I will have soon more interesting stuff, and don't forget to put comments for my Q&A. Happy knitting, happy whatever you're doing, and see you later!